Hello and a very warm welcome. Formula 1 Drive to Survive Season 2. Now, warning, there will be spoilers on this video, so if you've not watched the Netflix series, I suggest you click off this video because I am going to review Season 2 Formula 1 Drive to Survive. I didn't watch Season 1, but I've watched Season 2. I basically binge watched it. Basically what happened was testing finished on Friday. They dropped it because we have like a 2-week gap to Melbourne. And brilliant. I mean, Friday I watched 2 episodes. Saturday I watched 3. Sunday I watched 1. 2 Monday and 2 today as I record this, which is Tuesday. So we're going to review Drive to Survive Formula 1. We're going to cover all 10 episodes and just purely my reaction, my thoughts on it. So as I say again, if you've not watched it, I would go and watch it, then come back to this video because I'm going to be talking about all 10 episodes and I'm going to give my reaction and what I thought. First time watching Netflix, like on my new phone, first time watching Formula 1 Drive to Survive. Like I said, I missed Season 1, I watched Season 2, I thought it was fantastic, like no complaints. So Formula 1 Drive to Survive Season 2, 10 episodes, behind the scenes coverage. You never get to see this kind of stuff, what you see on the Netflix series. Like on a weekend you would never see that. Inside driver briefings, drivers swearing because they're media trained. Just behind the scenes footage that you would never ever see on a race weekend. So this is brilliant. So the first episode was Lights Out. Amazing behind the scenes coverage. Each one of these episodes is 30 to 40 minutes long. All the team principals will watch it. Everyone associated with Formula 1 will watch it. Amazing behind the scenes. Perfect for an F1 fan. This should be a series every single year. We get to see behind the driver briefings. We building up testing, behind the scenes in testing, in the garage, driver briefings, seeing stuff you would not see on a weekend. The first one was just a little teaser to get you into it, covered testing, the opening race in Albert Park, the whole build up for Daniel Ricciardo, then he ended up losing his front win after 10 seconds into the race and then had to retire. Like, people saved their money up all year probably to go and watch Daniel Ricciardo, and his race was done. His debut race for Renault was done in 10 seconds. Obviously this is 2019, so we got 10 episodes on the 2019 season as we approach the 2020 season. So episode 2, Haas tempers. And once again, Steiner shines. We got to see basically the struggles of Haas F1. Contact between Kevin Magnussen at Spain, Silverstone. And I wish they did an episode for Germany because they had Gunter Steiner went absolutely berserk at them at Silverstone. And literally the next race they had contact again. Because I remember down into the hairpin. My God, this guy is incredible. He will never learn. Best episode in my opinion. Out of all 10 episodes, this was my favourite. It was absolutely box office. If you've not seen this, you need to definitely watch episode 2. It had fireworks and everything. I literally never took my eyes off this episode. It was absolutely fantastic. Steiner, absolutely furious with the drivers. Favourite team boss, Gunter Steiner. He literally has become an F1 sensation from Netflix. In the first one, he said, we're acting like a bunch of wankers, and he's gone absolutely crazy. They had a sponsor, Rich Energy, but because their performances were so shit, Rich Energy pulled the plug. Gene Haas has invested his own money into this team, and Haas were really poor, like drastically poor. The highlight was probably Kevin Magnussen's Austria qualifying where he got P5. But in the race they just went backwards. Then they had contact at Spain. Austria, they went backwards. and Silverstone, they had contact on the first lap, both retired. And then Steiner was in his office with the two drivers, and it was absolutely brilliant. Basically, they had contact. Grosjean was like, I'm so pissed off, I'm so pissed off. And then Magnussen was like, I can't race with this guy, he just wants to come out on first. Then they basically got a bollocking off Steiner. And Gunter Steiner, oh my god, this guy's a legend. He should be the Ferrari boss. There wouldn't be no cock-ups at Ferrari if this guy was the boss. He's absolutely brutal, honest. He literally gets them in the office. He's like, you two, you fucking cost the team. You fucking drive for Haas F1. Gene is investing his own money into this team, and you two, I don't want to hear any bullshit excuses whose fault it was. You cost the team. You're an embarrassment. And if you want to do all this bullshit, you can stay at home, because I don't fucking need you in this team. You can fucking stay at home. And then Kevin Magnussen broke the door, and Gunter Steiner was absolutely furious. He went down. Kevin's just broke my fucking door. If he wants to do that, he can fuck off and not come back. I don't fucking need him here. Absolutely brilliant. And that was basically episode 2. This video is going to be probably like 20 minutes long, because we've got another 8 episodes to get through. So, the third episode was Carlos Sainz and Daniel Ricciardo. A big Renault-McLaren battle for 4th in the Constructors. And both of them really struggled. When you think Carlos Sainz finished 6th in the Drivers, but he hardly scored a point in the opening couple of races, Sainz. Ricciardo went to Renault, really struggled, and then he had that embarrassing moment at Baku where he reversed into Kvyat, and he went off to the States to basically refresh his mind. Really had a tough start at Renault. He went to the United States with his friend to play basketball, just a bit of chill time. And then he started to pick up his performances. 4th episode, Mercedes Horror Show. Now, if you remember, Mercedes had a drastic 2019 German Grand Prix. They were celebrating 125 years. They had special outfits, special design on the car. One of Mercedes' worst days in the hybrid era. It was an absolute embarrassment. But first they remembered Niki Lauda. It was absolutely very touching moment that Hamilton, remember back Monaco weekends, remembering Niki Lauda. He won the race, nursed the tyres. Everyone had red caps on, every driver. But back to Germany, one of Mercedes' worst days. And we got to see Hamilton behind the scenes. And obviously Hamilton was leading. He went off at the ice rink, broke his wing like many other drivers did. And then it went sour from there. Absolutely. He did a 360 out of turn 1. Bottas put the car in the wall. It was a horror day for Mercedes. But Hamilton, you don't see that side to him ever. He was literally in Toto Wolff's office and he was like, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry. That's fucking not good enough. Like, he's a world champion. Shouldn't be making them mistakes. I said it on my reaction. It was a shocking day for Lewis Hamilton. And he was really down. He was swearing. You don't see this side to him. This is why this Netflix show is so good. Number 5, episode 5, Gasly Under Pressure. I don't think that's what it was actually called, but Gasly Under Pressure. I could check on my phone. Netflix. Let's get it up. What the actual episode was called doesn't really matter, but that's the kind of guy I am. What was episode 5 called? Season 1, we don't want that, we want Season 2. We had Lights Out, Boiling Point, Haas Tempers, Dogfight, Dark Days. Great Expectations, but I've called it Gasly Under Pressure because that's basically what it was. Horner, literally killing him. Like, Gasly was under pressure. I called for him to be dropped. And it was, the writing was on the wall that Pierre Gasly was going to be dropped. He was getting beaten by McLaren's, Renault's, wasn't delivering, was miles off Max. It was inevitable. But Christian Horner literally telling him, come back, bring the car back how it is now. I mean, the pressure they put on him. Gasly didn't know he was going to lose the seat. The team told him his seat was safe, but his performances were absolutely shocking. France was the turning point for me. Getting passed by Red Bull's former employee in Ricciardo, Renault breezes past him, and then Austria, Max won the race, and Gasly ends up getting lapped. It was a horror show at Red Bull. I called it very early on that Pierre Gasly had to be dropped, and people agreed with me, and the writing on the wall happened. Obviously you feel sorry for him when you're watching it on the series, but this is Formula 1. It's brutal. And it's a results business. You don't deliver, you're out the door. Same as a football manager. You don't deliver the results, you're out the door. Number 6, Albon chance. Now I've just said Albon chance. I don't think it is actually. Like, I've wrote like what I'm going to talk about down. But basically this episode was an insight into Alexander Albon's life. I mean, think about it. He wasn't even supposed to have an F1 drive in 2019. Toro Rosso gave him a drive, and then halfway through the season he gets the promotion to Red Bull. We got an insight into Alexander Albon's life, living at home, a family man, going to mosque, and that. Like, he's in his early career, he got dropped from the Red Bull program. Tough times. His mum went to jail, and yeah, he was struggling, Albon. He got dropped, but then he needed to show a grit and determination to get back. And then it was showing Hubert's accident. Anton Hubert, F2 racer, talented Frenchman who sadly passed away at Spa, and that's the first race where Albon got promoted. Gasly got dropped, Albon got promoted, his first race was Spa, and he shone really. I mean, he had a penalty, had to start at the back, so it was basically win or lose really, because he was starting last anyway, so he could only go forward, and he shone, he got up to P5. So it was a great debut, and a great insight to Alexander Albon's life, and him getting promoted is what he does when he's away from track. 7, seeing red. I've got it as Ferrari tension. Like, who would have expected Charles Leclerc to actually be taking the fight to Sebastian Vettel? Charles Leclerc ended up beating Sebastian Vettel. He ends up... Well, Spa was a very tough weekend for Leclerc, obviously losing his friend. He won the race. Then we get to Monza, and literally we haven't had a Ferrari win at Monza in so long, and Charles Leclerc was the first to do it. Everyone expected Vettel to blow the Monegasque away, and it didn't materialise. Charles Leclerc ends up winning at Monza as Sebastian Vettel makes a crucial, huge mistake at the Ascari chicane. Then we get on to Singapore. Leclerc basically got shafted by the strategy. Vettel ended up winning. Then we got on to Russia, and typical Ferrari, team orders have to play with this iconic team. They already said before the start of the race, Leclerc was going to give Vettel a tow, and Vettel was going to get in the lead, and then they were going to switch it back. Obviously that didn't occur. We've seen Sebastian Vettel ignore team orders before, and he did it again basically. But then he retired from the race, so that basically never happened, never materialised. Most passionate team of any team, Ferrari, and it was a great insight. Basically Leclerc shining, Seb struggling. 8, driver market, musical chairs it was called, Nico Hülkenberg. Now this was a very painful watch. Basically this is how I saw this episode. We were seeing Cyril Abiteboul, Nico Hülkenberg. It was awkward between them. Very awkward all the time. I mean, Hülkenberg said in the plane, when are we getting a Renault private jet or something? And he was like, when you get your first podium. Basically, how I saw this episode, now I'm not saying this is, but this is how I saw this episode. Cyril Abiteboul wanted Hülkenberg out. It was awkward. Cyril Abiteboul wanted to get a Frenchman in the team. He wanted Hulkenberg out. He was having secret meetings with Toto Wolff and Esteban Ocon. And he basically said to Hulkenberg, you have to get a podium, otherwise we're going to put Ocon in. And the big chance that Hulkenberg had to get a podium, he put it in the wall at the ice rink. It was a painful watch. I mean, it was a very painful watch. Hulkenberg had to get a podium to keep his seat, and he had the amazing chance at Germany and he put it in the wall. It was a very painful watch though. I'm a fan of Hulkenberg. He should still be on the grid. Number 9, Blood, Sweat, Tears, Williams. So this episode is basically about Williams. Now we know how bad Williams were. Literally last every weekend, 3 laps down. Didn't even make testing. Couldn't even get a car together to make testing. They were late to testing. Robert Kubica and George Russell at the wheel. And it was a shambles of a season. It was a disaster. An insight into Williams' struggles. Paddy Lowe basically got the blame. The car didn't arrive for testing. Paddy Lowe got the blame. He ends up leaving. And it's a disgrace for a team like Williams to be tossing it up at the back 3 laps down. This is an iconic team. A team used to winning races, championships, wins, poles, titles, and it's not good enough, is it? Look at the iconic drivers that have drove for Williams. Montoya, Schumacher, Button, Rosberg, Senna, Prost, Mansell. And it's like Hill, Villeneuve. I mean, they've not won a driver's title since '97. The iconic Williams team. I grew up with Williams winning, and now they're at a shambles. Let's hope they can have a better season in 2020. Claire Williams, obviously Frank Williams' daughter Claire Williams is now in charge. She's never going to get the sack. She had a very passionate, fighting talk at testing. We're Williams, we're not going to give up, we're going to be here fighting. Our Williams fans are amazing. But it's going to be an interesting season in 2020. Then, the last episode, Checkered Flag. A look into Gasly, Albon and Sainz's race at Brazil. Every single one of them could have got on the podium. Gasly ends up finishing second. Alexander Albon should have had his first podium. Got hit by Lewis Hamilton. 100% Hamilton's fault. And he did get a penalty. And Carlos Sainz, after a long wait, finally got to stand on the podium. And it was a look into the insight of them 3 at Brazil. Gasly's emotion. Now think about what Pierre Gasly's been through. Brilliant. I'm pretty sure you could hear that. Apologies. Motorbike wants to go revving down the street. Brilliant timing. Gasly's emotion. Now think of him. He's a Red Bull driver. He basically not delivering. He gets dropped. Christian Horner's putting pressure on him by saying, I want you to bring the car back in one piece. He gets dropped. Then, Spa, his first race back at Toro Rosso, his friend dies in a really bad crash. He was really close to Anton Hubert, like best friends. And that was his first race back. And he's gone through so much in... it was incredible this season. Red Bull getting dropped. Then his friend has that bad crash. It was losing his seat, losing Anton Hubert, and then that incredible moment at Brazil. That radio message, every time I hear it, it's probably the most iconic radio message is Senna going crazy when he won at Brazil. That's how it felt like. Gasly, all that emotion he's gone through after a tough season just came out. Pierre Gasly, finished second. Lewis Hamilton and him literally separated by that much over the line, but Hamilton got a penalty. It was an incredible moment to see that passion come out of Pierre Gasly. I was a huge critic of him, but like I say, I'll always be honest. You gotta be honest. And for me, that was the right decision for him to be dropped. But incredible. And then it was after we went to Abu Dhabi and they were going through all the drivers, and Kvyat literally, one of the drivers said to Kvyat, have you been on the Netflix series? The Netflix crew haven't been near me. They must not be interested in me. Netflix can fuck off. Danny Kiviat, man. So there we have it. All 10 episodes done. This has probably been my longest ever video, but I had to do a video about this. This is Formula 1 Drive to Survive Season 2, my review. And we'll get into it now. I've gone down all the episodes, and each one's about 30 to 40 minutes long. So yeah, what I was doing, I was watching one in the morning when I had my breakfast, then one before I went to bed. Saturday I binge watch, I watched like 3. Sunday I only watched 1 because I was watching the United game. Then Monday, morning, bed today as well. 10 out of 10, this series for me. 10 out of 10. If I was giving it a rating, 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Amazing behind the scenes coverage that we would never see on a Formula 1 weekend. Perfect for an F1 fan. I really enjoyed this. And that's why I'm doing a video. Swearing behind the scenes, in the driver briefings. Hearing the team principals talk to the drivers before they go literally lights out while they're putting the helmets on. Incredible insight into a team briefing. Gunter Steiner giving the Haas boys a bollocking. Steiner once again shines, becoming an internet sensation is Gunter Steiner. He was unbelievable in Season 1. He struck the jackpot again in Season 2. I can't even read my own writing here. See the real passion and emotion of everyone. Team principals, drivers, pit crew. Favourite episode. Now, there's 10 episodes. My favourite episode was episode 2, Boiling Point. I loved it. Gunter Steiner. That is my favourite episode. I probably will watch that again. It was that good. Like, honestly, I've watched every one now, but I'll probably go back and watch that. It was that good. The worst episode for me was episode 8. Now, not because it was bad or it was crap or it was shit. It was just awkward. It was awkward seeing the tension and the awkwardness between Hulkenberg and Cyril Abiteboul. Cyril Abiteboul, I don't like him. He's a snake. Basically, going to Toto Wolff, arranging to get Ocon in this car and basically giving him a dilemma. You get a podium or you're out, basically. Testing ends 2 weeks, so they basically dropped the Netflix series, so while we're waiting 2 weeks we can watch it. I've already gone through that I've watched it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I binge watched it, basically. If you watch one a day, it would take you 10 days, but I'm a Formula 1 fan, I love Formula 1, so I just went on a massive binge. My only critique with it, I wish it was longer, I wish it was more episodes. 10 episodes, you get through them so quickly, so yeah, if I had to criticise it, I would say I wish it was longer, I wish there was more episodes. Maybe every single race weekend, do 1 episode. That would be maybe something cool. And Kimi Räikkönen needs to be on it more. We hardly saw the Iceman. What am I going to call this video? F1 Drive to Survive Season 2, my review. And I'll probably have to put spoilers because some people won't have even watched it yet. I've watched all 10 episodes. I absolutely love it. I love Formula 1. I'll always love Formula 1. I fell in love with this sport in '96. And I will literally watch it till the day I take my last breath. I love Formula 1. And that is probably the longest video I've ever done. Leave your comments down below. Did you enjoy the Netflix series? I absolutely loved it. Comment down below. I will always reply. And if you've watched all 24 minutes, wow, thank you very much. That is my review done. I really enjoyed it. Absolutely brilliant for an F1 fan. You can't ask for much more than that. Amazing coverage, amazing coverage. I just wish it was longer.